Who are you and where are we?
Well, I'm Isabel, and we are at the Olive Oil Museum in Fermoselle.
Isabel, what was the initial motivation behind creating this museum in Fermoselle?
Traditionally, Fermoselle has been a place where olive oil has been produced for centuries. People have harvested the olives from their groves and cared for the land in order to make their own olive oil. 14 years ago, we began a project focused on bottling gourmet olive oil, paying great attention to every stage of the process, from harvesting to bottling, and everything related to the product itself. That was the beginning of what has led us to be here today at the Olive Oil Museum, where we have restored this space to share the culture of olive oil in Fermoselle.
What makes the olive oil you produce and sell so special? And what other products besides olive oil can visitors find at the museum?
What makes our olive oil special is that it comes from the Manzanilla olive variety, which produces a very distinctive oil, fruity, rich on the palate, and capable of enhancing everything it is paired with. That is the unique characteristic of this type of olive oil. In addition, we produce it as a single variety olive oil, using only the Manzanilla olive, even though there is a small percentage of Cornicabra olive trees in Fermoselle. We work exclusively with the Manzanilla variety, besides the extra virgin olive oil that we produce and bottle from the Manzanilla variety, which is the main olive variety grown in Fermoselle. We also make olive pâté from green olives, extra virgin olive oil jelly, and cocoa spread made with extra virgin olive oil. These are all completely natural products. The jelly is especially interesting because it brings back the traditional village snack of bread with olive oil and sugar. It's our modern version of that classic treat. Likewise, the cocoa spread is our modern take on products like chocolate hazelnut spread, made with extra virgin olive oil, pure cocoa, and just a touch of sweetness.
We can see various awards and recognitions on display. Could you tell us a little about the museum's journey and achievements?
When we first started producing olive oil, our goal was to create a gourmet product, a carefully crafted, high-quality olive oil made with great attention to detail. That commitment has allowed us to receive a number of awards over the years in recognition of both the quality of our olive oil and its presentation, everything that goes into creating an outstanding product. We have received awards in different places, including Japan and Spain, and even in Extremadura, the birthplace of the Manzanilla olive variety, where our olive oil from Fermoselle was also recognized. Interestingly, this small corner of the province of Zamora has a long tradition of olive growing, something that many people are unaware of, even people from the province itself. They are often surprised to learn that olive oil has been produced in this village for centuries.
This is a museum where we can see many different types of equipment. It's very comprehensive. Could you show us around and tell us what we can find here?
Yes, of course. The museum was created with the purpose of showing visitors, not only those from outside Fermoselle, but also the people of Fermoselle themselves, our olive oil heritage. This has always been a village with a long history of emigration. So many people remember seeing their grandparents and ancestors harvesting olives and caring for the groves in order to make olive oil, always for their own consumption. We were the pioneers in producing a gourmet olive oil to share with others. That is why we wanted to showcase Fermoselle's olive oil culture. That was the original idea. It all started with the Olive Oil Project 14 years ago, and that became the thread that eventually led us to restore the last privately owned olive mill still standing in Fermoselle. At one time, there were 8 olive mills like this one, which gives you an idea of the enormous number of olives that were produced here and how extensively the countryside was cultivated. Unfortunately, most of it has now been abandoned. Only a few of us remain, preserving and continuing the work that our ancestors began. We wanted to keep our olive oil culture alive and share it with others. The museum includes different sections. One is an exhibition area featuring objects related to olive growing, olive oil production, and the traditional olive harvest, showing visitors how olives used to be harvested, which is quite fascinating. Then we have the machinery section, where the olive oil itself was actually produced.
Isabel, where are we now, and what do we have here?
Well, we are now in the area where the olive oil was actually produced. Here we have the mill, which replaced the original stones that were once used for grinding. Back in the 19th century, and until this machinery was installed, there was a millstone, known as a grinding stone, that was turned by a donkey walking in circles to crush the olives. This was later replaced by the mill you see here, which also works with a very simple system. Two rollers placed very close together crushed the olives as they fell between them. The olive paste then reached the hopper and was lifted up to the mixer. All of these pieces are the original machines that were in the olive mill when we restored it. They remain in exactly the same place where they originally stood. The only thing we have done is restore them and set them in motion so visitors can see a simulation of how olive oil was produced. The paste then moved to the mixer, where these blades rotated and the heat that circulated through those pipes warmed the paste. This process made it easier to separate the oil from the pits and skins, which would later remain trapped inside the fiber mats. Once the paste was ready, it was poured into this container and people used a bucket, called a harada here in Fermoselle, to fill the fiber mats and stack them into a column, which was then placed into the hydraulic presses. Behind me are the water pressure pumps, which transformed water into pressure. In other words, into the force needed to operate the presses. By opening these wheels, the pressure was directed to the pistons inside the hydraulic presses, lifting the trolley loaded with the stacked fiber mats until it was pressed against the top of the machine. The pressing was done from the bottom upwards, which is why these were known as inverted presses. In this way, the solid remains stayed trapped inside the fiber mats, while the olive oil flowed out around the edges and into channels built into the floor. From there, it was carried to the clay jars where the oil was left to settle. Settling is simply a resting process that allows the tiny particles left in the freshly produced olive oil to sink to the bottom. Keep in mind that the olives were crushed together with their pits and skins, which created microscopic particles suspended in the oil, making it appear slightly cloudy. As the oil rested, these particles gradually settled at the bottom of the jars under their own weight, leaving the clearer oil on top. Finally, the oil was transferred into the large storage jars, where people would come with their own containers and clay jars to collect their olive oil.